This can make prospects cry, but will add massive urgency on your sales calls. This is to be used with caution. I was a top producer at 7th Level, one of the largest sales training companies in the world. I was also a top producer at Sales Sniper, back then the largest sales agency in high-ticket sales. I've trained sales reps and multi-million-dollar sales teams to double, triple, quadruple their sales. And one of the key reasons we've been able to do that is by adding massive urgency on the sales call. Not by doing discounts or whatever weird sales tactics, or even, we're not even gonna talk about consequence questions. It's actually quite positive, but when I've used it, it has made grown men cry and actually helped them move forward and make a change in their life, close more deals, obviously make more money, everybody wins. And it's called the moment in time. This is a technique or concept I learned from the then former CEO of 7th Level, Matt. I just modified it into my own version and just tweaked it for what works well for me. So let me go ahead and share my screen and share you something from our training program, Real Sales System. Okay, it's called a decision tree. Okay, the sales call framework that I was using to become a top producer on the most competitive sales teams in the industry. The same thing we license out to our students to help them become top producers at their respective offers in their companies. And we're gonna go into the desire section of the sales call, okay? So at this point of the call, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, okay? But at this point, we've already opened the call, we've helped the prospect realize what the problem is, how is it affecting them personally, internally, mentally, emotionally, or their business, depending on what you sell. We've gone over, okay, what have they tried before? What have they looked at? What are they looking at an ideal solution? We've already gone over that. And we're here where we go over, okay, by them solving the problem and them getting their desired outcome, how would their life or their business, again, depending on what you sell, how would that change? And more importantly, why is it important to them? And building up the desire, okay? So urgency isn't just from the negatives. Urgency isn't just from discounts. It's not just from pushy sales tactics. It is not just from pain and problem, okay? That is just one component. Although I don't really do guarantees and discounts to add urgency. Pain can be a powerful motivator for sure. But on the other end is yin and the yang, right? On the other spectrum, we have the other positive side, which is the desire, right? People often, we take action because of desire. We just want to feel good. And we want to have a certain amount of desire depending on what it is. And so the whole point of the section is, okay, how would that look like? Okay. Not just from like a tangible, logical standpoint, like what would they be able to do, but also having them visualize and imagine what it would be like, which adds the desire to it, the demand of what they want and why they want it, which goes and help them move forward, okay? So let's go with some tactical stuff, okay? So basically, let's just say the prospect they have not been making the most amount of money, they want to make more money, right? So let's say they said that they want to make, I don't know, 20 grand a month. So I may ask them, okay, so let's say we help you with accountability, give it the step by step, you get to 20K a month. How would your life maybe look different from it is now? What's the biggest motivator for you? So I tweak it that way and I ask them. And if you notice, the way I ask is, I look up on purpose, I slow down. Have you noticed that? I'm not just going like, okay, so let's say you're able to make 20K a month. How would your life be different from it is now? What's your biggest motivator? The reason why we don't want to ask it too fast or monotone is because if we ask it too fast, it's just going to go over their head. If we ask monotone, it's going to go over their head. We're not going to be able to pull out the emotion and the desire and the demand from this, which defeats the whole purpose. So what I'm going to do is like, okay, so let's say you're making 20K a month now. How does your life look different than maybe it is now? I looked up, right? That was not on accident. That was not because I felt awkward and I looked away. No, I looked up on purpose because I'm looking up as if I'm imagining it. What is that like? What does it look like? I think this is like some NLP technique. I'm not some fucking nerd. We're not gonna circle jerk about that. But I just look up a little bit, like, yeah, what does it look like for you? What's your biggest motivator? So when I look up, it's gonna cue, oftentimes when done properly, the prospect will start looking up to, they're like, well, they kind of mirror you. In the dating world, I learned a terminology and a technique called the law of state transfers. Well, it's really a principle, okay? In psychology, I think they call it emotion contagion. What it basically is whatever we feel, the prospects feel. It's just like in dating, right? If I feel awkward and stiff going up and talking to a girl, guess what the girl's gonna feel? She's gonna feel awkward and stiff, right? As opposed to if I feel more relaxed and fun, she's gonna feel more relaxed and fun. So in this context, I'm gonna imagine it, right? I'm just gonna like, yeah, so you making that as if like I just been through what they've been through. Like I was making 5K a month to 20K a month, right? So you're making 20K a month. What? How does your life look different than, and again, I'm slowing down, I'm pausing it. What does it do? It gives them time to process and internalize the question we're asking them. So I don't do this for every question. Every question, if we do that, it's gonna lose its meaning, right? There's gotta be some contrast. I was just in London a few weeks ago, and the reason why I actually appreciated the London cool breeze was because I've been in Dubai, and as amazing as the weather is, it's warm and sunny, but sometimes you need one thing contrast, right? And it started getting a bit cold. I came back to Dubai and I really appreciate the warm weather. If we don't have contrast, we don't appreciate it, right? If we're not hungry, then we don't feel the satisfaction of being full. and eating food. If we're not thirsty, we don't feel the satisfaction of actually hydrating ourselves. Same thing. So contrast. Other parts, I may have asked it more casually, right? Oh man, how's that going? Okay, what about this? You know what I'm saying? But here, we want to get more weights. So I'm slowing down. I'm just like, you know, to do that, how does your life look different? What's your biggest motivator? I had the last part, what's your biggest motivator? Basically, I want them to give me their big motivator, not like a nice to have. I don't want, it would be kind of nice to travel. Now, at this point, they're gonna give us one of two different types of answers, right? And also, the student tree, by the way, give to our students, this is called a sub-communication. Sub-communication is how we're supposed to deliver the words. Everything besides the verbal, our facial expression, our tonality, body language, overall vibe and aura and intention, everything working simultaneously. Because we've all heard of saying it's not about what we say, it's how we say it. Absolutely true. I mean, I'll say it's both. It's about what we say and how we say it. So, slow the down. And then after we ask that, okay, so let's say you're about to do this. What would that allow you to do? What's your biggest motivator? Then we're gonna get like a nice to have or more strong driver. And we want obviously the strong driver, right? Green means good, right? That's an ideal answer we want from the prospect. And that's what's gonna help them. Red is what's not gonna help the prospect, what's not gonna help the sale. When we phrase it that way, I found that I get better answers. Yeah, what's your biggest motivator? You know, you being able to do that, how's your life look different? What's your biggest motivator? Slow down and I ask it. Then we get a strong motivator. Maybe they say, I want to retire my parents. Phenomenal. So we know that's a pretty good motivator, right? But let's just say they give us a nice to have. They may say that, I could travel a bit more. Or they may say that, it would be nice to save up. Does this sound like a strong motivator to you? No, it does not. But why? Because they either verbally or sub-communication, it sounds like a nice to have. They say that, it would be nice to save up. They're literally spelling out it's like a nice to have, not something important. Or the way they say it is like, I could travel a bit more. We can tell it's a bit nonchalant, it's not that important. But if they go, listen, I really want to retire my parents. We know that's important, just the way they say it, verbally and non-verbally, right? So what do we do if we get a nice to have option? Then we simply go, okay, so it's like a nice to have or actual strong driver for you? And they're gonna say, well, yeah, it's like a nice to have. At that point, then we reframe that and we challenge them on it, okay? Then we go, okay, so what's an actual strong driver for you? Because if you're gonna put time and effort into something, the juice has to be worth the squeeze, right? So what is a strong driver for you? Because this is gonna help you. So whenever we get a lack of compliance from the prospect, or we don't get that depth of an answer, then what we can do is we can state the reason why this question is important and we frame it to their benefit. That's my go-to that I basically train to all the sales reps that I train. Reason why. Okay, so if you're gonna put time and effort into something, this is the outcome you're gonna get needs to be worthwhile. That's the reason why. But we're framing it to their benefit, because if it's just a reason, but if it's not to their benefit, what's the only thing the prospects give a about? Themselves, right? Which is fine. It's like, okay, cool. State a reason why, frame it to their benefit. This is gonna help you. They're like, oh, okay, I see why he's asking me that. I see why this question is important. I see why me answering the more strong driver is important. Then at that point, we get a strong driver, ideally. At that point, we basically probe. There's not specific exact word tracks for it because it is totally contextual depending on what they say. I mean, don't get me wrong, we get common things, right? We get common things like they want to retire their parents, maybe they want to take their family out on holiday, maybe they want to retire, maybe they want to leave something behind for their kids, things like that, right? Maybe they want to retire their wife. So at that point, depending on the context, we can ask about time frame, why that's important, and then we're later gonna go into something called a moment in time, okay? And then basically how much is needed. As an example, let's say we're talking to a man and he wants to retire his wife. I'd be like, that's amazing. I wanna reward them a little bit, positive reinforcement. When they do a positive behavior, aka opening up about their true driver, then we wanna reinforce that by rewarding them. That's showing them that's a good behavior. That's gonna prompt them to repeat that behavior. So I'm gonna go, oh, that's amazing. You know, I'm gonna say like, that's amazing. By when? Time frame. You know what, I would really wanna retire her by the end of the year. Okay, that's a great goal. So, I mean, besides you obviously being her husband, why is that so important to you? Where is it coming from? So I ask it that way with weight and I pause, I slow down and I stop. Okay, so besides the obvious of X, Y, Z, okay, besides the obvious of you being her husband, pause. Why is it so important to you though? Where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? That's gonna prompt a more deeper answer. Maybe he says that, you know what, I really hate her seeing going to work because I hate her basically having another man telling her what to do. He didn't tell us that before. We would not have known unless we ask it that way. The reason why I like to put besides the obvious of that, besides obviously you being her husband, let's just say that they want to retire their parents, right? Besides obviously you know, them being your parents, why is it so important to you? Where is it coming from? I like to ask it that way because they may be like, oh, because I'm their son, or because I'm her husband. That's a surface layer answer, right? But besides the obvious of surface layer, deeper answer, right? The example of why, besides the obvious of you being their son, why is it so important for you to retire them? Where is it coming from? And they may say something, you know, when my parents come from, they're immigrants, they come from China, they've done so much for me and my siblings, I really need to pay them back. Deeper answer. We're building up the desire, aka urgency. You see what we're doing? I want to make sure you understand the principle and the reason why we're doing this. So we're gonna probe, and then we're gonna go into the moment in time. The moment in time is basically taking them to the moment when they achieve that desire. So if they want to retire her wife, taking him to the moment, we're gonna use some Jedi shit here. We're gonna take him to the moment inside of his brain, to the moment he finally retires his wife. We're gonna take them to the moment where they finally retire their parents. We're gonna take them to the moment where they finally buy that lake house, whatever the desire is. Or when they finally tell their boss to, F you, I'm quitting. They're like, okay, so you being able to do that, you coming home one day and you say to your wife, hey baby, don't go to work tomorrow. I got you. What is her reaction? Pause. What do we do? So you being able to do X, Y, Z specific graphic thing. Now I'm just saying like, hey, you being able to retire your wife, how would that feel? That's not bad, but this is my twist on it, okay? You being able to do this, da-da-da-da. So first I like to include other people's reaction if other people are involved in their desire. Let's say they want to buy a Ferrari. Who's the first person you want to show it to? If I know it's a younger guy, they want to show it off to girls, I'm going to be like, yeah, dude, how do you think girls will look at you? Oh, they'll look at me, da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Going back to this. Other people involved. So he wants to retire his wife, so the other person involved is his wife, right? What's her reaction? So, okay, you being able to do X, Y, Z specific visual desire. Pause. Let them internalize. Let them imagine. Let them picture it. What's her reaction? What is her reaction? Have them picture it. Oh man, she'd be so proud. Oh, she'd be crying. So you being able to come home one day, you give your mother a call. It's like, hey mom, you've been working way too long. Don't go to work tomorrow. I got you. What's her reaction? Oh wow, she'll cry. I've literally had grown men cry here. I don't say that as a flex because it's really not. I'm just saying this to show you how powerful it is when using the right way to obviously help the prospect get out of their way, take action so they can improve their life. Which as a byproduct, obviously we close more deals and we make more money. But this is a byproduct, right? Oh, wow. Now they're imagining their reaction. And then after we get that, then I go, yeah, and what does it do for you as a son? What does it do for you as a husband? What does it do for you as a provider? What does it mean for you as an identity? What does that do for you as an identity? Oh yeah, it would make me proud. It would make me feel accomplished. It would make me feel like the man. Yeah, for sure. So you see what we did? So urgency isn't just from negatives, pain and consequence. That's just one piece of it, right? Maybe we'll talk about other parts in the videos as well in other videos, but based on positive desire-based selling is a very powerful tool as well when executed very, very properly, effectively. So listen, watching basic YouTube videos is cool. You may try this, but maybe you don't execute it that well, which happens all the time, right? You may think you know kind of what you're doing, but you're not, and maybe you burn some leads and you lose deals, or the progress is a lot slower as opposed to if you just got the right feedback, got coaching, you could have just shortcut the progress a lot. Because I can take a look at me personally. I can take a look at your role plays, your sales call recordings, where you're f***ing up on, what you do in the well so you can double down on it or tweak it. And oftentimes, I often find the sales reps are just a few tweaks away. So if you want that help, that's what we help our students with inside of a program, Real Sales System, where we help our students get to 10K, 20K, 30K monthly commissions as a closer. Later on, students have used what they learned inside the program to start sales agencies or go into sales operations, go into 100K a month. I'm not saying you're gonna do the same thing. Absolutely no income guarantees. If you want a safe cushy guarantee, I suggest you go flip burgers at Burger King instead. They're hiring, you'll get a safe cushy guarantee, when to clock in, when to clock out, how much you're gonna make, okay? But if you're the type of person that's willing to get outside the comfort zone, you're hardworking, you're a high-level executor, you're intelligent, then you can go to first link in the description box below, see a demo of our program, Real Sales System. If you're eligible, schedule a consultation call. I'll see you there.